G'day and welcome to another episode of Full Bore. I'm your host, Steve Lanchester, and I know it's been a long time since I've posted a video. And the reasons for that is because life really kicks you in the nuts when you're an adult, and working 6 days a week doesn't give you a lot of time to film and edit a video. So here we are, I'm giving it some time, and I really want to show you guys the new Full Bore project car. It's been about a year since I posted a video, and a lot has happened since then. I've acquired and sold a lot of vehicles, so I really got to start keeping track of what's going on. Now, the main reason for me making this video is because I'm going on a pretty hectic adventure within the next few months or so. I'm actually going across the Simpson Desert, which requires me to have a vehicle capable of doing so. And as you guys may know, a Toyota Bandera is not really good at doing long distance traveling. So fortunately, the right vehicle popped up at the right time, and more importantly, for the right price. Now I'm going to give you guys a bit of a run through in just a moment, but I'll just show you guys around where I am at the moment. This is as far away from civilization as I could possibly get by driving 5 minutes away from work. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't want you turning up. But the vehicle I'm about to show you guys has a pretty long backstory. It came into work because it actually went through the Lismore floods of 2022. It went right over the bonnet, went over the dash and everything. So look, by rights, a lot of people would probably class it as a write-off. The lady came in looking for some work to be done on it. We did the work, got the car going. She never picked it up. However, the car was in still a pretty poor state of affairs. So I called her up one day and I said, look, would you take $3 for the thing? Mind you, the thing still had rego on it at the time. And she goes, yep. And I thought, damn, I really should have offered two. But anyway, the thing is still a bargain. And what I'm doing to it is turning it into the ultimate Simpson Desert rig for under 10 grand, because cars like this just don't pop up for under 10 grand, and I'll show you it right now. It is, of course, a HZJ105. Now, this thing has been absolutely neglected to the nth degree, and it is an absolute trooper. This thing started life as a mines vehicle in 2001, and it's had a really hard life because after it was sold as a mines vehicle, it then went to a farmer who proceeded to neglect it even further. And then after that, it of course went through the Lismore floods, and you can see where it went up to because I've drawn a line with a permanent marker, which is of course extremely classy. There we have it. That's the reason it's mine. Look, from here, it looks really clean, but if you get close up, it is in fact definitely not clean. But that said, that means I don't have to care about it too much, and if I park it in the Woolies car park and somebody opens their door on it, I couldn't give less of a rat's. Now, because it has of course gone through the Lismore floods, I have affectionately named him Duncan, because he's also the sort of bloke you'd like to have a beer with. So I'll give you a run through of what I've done to it and what needs to be done in preparation for this June Simpson Desert trip. Now, Duncan is a particularly special vehicle, and that is the case because of a few reasons. The first being that it is the most poverty pack 100 series LandCruiser money could buy. It has literally no features, and that to me is like a birthday cake made of chocolate, because I thoroughly enjoy zero features. However, the one feature that it has is air conditioning, which works top spec because it is a Denso unit and Toyotas just have good air conditioning. What that also means is that this is the exact Model 100 series that Russell Coight used in the second season of All Aussie Adventures. And due to that, I have very nicely put the Coight himself up on the back windscreen here. You little ripper. No. Anyways, because it is a POV spec vehicle, the fact that it went through the floods doesn't really harm it at all, because when we have a quick squeeze inside here, the thing's vinyl. It has wind-up windows. Look, other than a few switches on the dash, there's like literally nothing in here. But to be honest, when I got it going after the floods, everything worked. No word of a lie, even the radio, which to this day still works, and it's been about a year. The one thing in the car that stopped working after the floods was the park lights, which was a massive pain in the butt cheeks, because the park light relay, which was the faulty unit, is down in the left-hand kick panel in here, and you practically have to remove the entire dash to get to it. But other than that, she's a little ripper. Not one other thing has broken on me, except for the rear diff, which exploded when I was driving out to casino, and also the fact that the fuel tank was rusted through on top. Just the most basic sort of car. Vinyl floor, vinyl seats, which are of course ripped. Doesn't mind me at all. Inside here, we've got a speedo, which is there. You've also got a tacho, fuel gauges. These things have dual fuel tanks, so I've got a sub tank switch just there. Long story with that one, it's stuffed up on me. I'll get to that later. Put a UHF in it. It's got a just a standard FM radio. The reason I've kept that and I haven't swapped it out for like some dodgy looking, you know, aftermarket unit is because it says Toyota on it, and I reckon it looks really sick. Plus, it still works, which I reckon is just a Christmas miracle, especially considering it went right underwater. So I reckon he deserves to stay there for now. Oh, yes, it's got a bench seat, which is friggin' awesome. I'll just move me coffee. So that's how it... Oh, coffee. That's how it works. It can sit 3 burly blokes across the front. However, the middle bloke will have this gear knob in their region. That bit folds back down, of course, turns into a cup holder, which is more than you can say about pretty much every 70 series. All the camping gear's in the back at the moment, because why not? This is the new camp rig. Just a 3-seater bench seat in the back made of vinyl, so if you poo your pants on it, you can just wipe it off. And look, pretty basic. Another reason that I bought it and thought that it was a bargain is because of the engine. Now, some of these things have really high spec 1HD FTE engines. Of course, they're in the independent front suspension models. This thing, however, does not. It has what they call a 1HZ, and I'll show you that magnificent beauty in just a second. Yeet. Now this, boys and girls, is the mighty 1HZ. That engine there might be the slowest moving object on the face of the planet, bar a 3L Hilux. However, you can guarantee that it will always get you there. Unless you put a turbo on it, in which case it probably won't get you there. So, of course, we've already started to modify Duncan to turn it into the ultimate Simpson Desert touring rig. And I've tried to do it in as cheap a way as physically possible by buying stuff secondhand and doing practically everything myself, and or with the help of Davo the Mechanical Wizard. Now, under the bonnet, the mighty 1.8Z has practically not been touched, other than the fact that I had to put a new sump on it, which I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace for 150 bucks off some bloke in Brisbane. He was an absolute ripper of a bloke. And that's because the original sump was punched in by either the mines people or the farmer who owned it prior to me. Other than that, I've replaced the air intake hose because I don't like sucking in dust like a 200 series. And I've put a new radiator on it because the original Toyota one will have either exploded or be ready to explode by this stage. Davo rebuilt the starter motor because he's a legend of a bloke, and I put a new alternator on it. I've also put a new clutch master and slave cylinder on it because why the heck not, and they're cheap as chips off eBay. And Davo slapped this dual battery system in it. Now, before you complain, I know it's an AGM battery, and of course it probably shouldn't be under the bonnet, but I really don't want to put it anywhere else in the car. Hence, we've put some insulation on it to try and keep it cooler, and it does have a fairly nice flow of air going around it, so I'm happy with that. And it's got the Red Arc DC-DC battery and bracket made up by Davo. What a legend. GME aerial because they're made in Australia and I like that sort of stuff. Got it on special. The rooftop flat tray that came off of eBay for 500 bucks delivered. Very happy because it's aluminium and it's specifically designed for a 100 series cruiser. Whereas the King's rooftop tent, 400 bucks off Facebook Marketplace. The thing's immaculate, so I'm pretty happy with that. The tyres, 285/75 R16, bought them off a mate of mine for 400 bucks. Very happy, made in Japan, Toyo open countries with about 70% tread, so they should do me for the trip. In the back, set of drawers, which I bought off a mate for 250 bucks. As it turns out, these Titan drawers go on sale for about 280, so look, probably not the bargain of the century. But anyways, got a fridge there, thanks to me brother. Very happy, love you, Brondon. This thing also has barn doors, which is quite an oddity because barn doors were, of course, the poverty pack item. A lot of people don't like the barn doors because the 100 series generally have a fold down tailgate which ends about here, which means that you can take your misso on a beautiful date out to the casino rodeo so you can drink your Bundy rums while sitting on the tailgate. Look, what that also does is it prevents you from reaching in further, and this allows you to access stuff further back because you don't have a tailgate hitting your shins the whole time. Well, your shins if you're tall, and your thick boy leggy bits if you're short like me. Also put a new tailpipe on it, which I got on Spesh, very cheap, 150 bucks. Did a muffler delete because it was about to fall apart. I do regret doing a muffler delete because now it sounds like a pig and it's quite loud. Safari snorkel was with the car when I got it. Very happy with that. Other than that, have had to put a new set of front calipers, swivel hub kits, all the bearings throughout the car. Mechanically, it's top spec. Put a clutch in it, check the gearbox out, got the four-wheel drive working, and of course, not long after I bought it, the rear diff exploded, so I had to track one of them down off of Facebook Marketplace for 300 bucks. Absolute bargain. Thank you to the bloke who carried a diff 4Ks up his driveway just to sell it to me for way too cheap. So, look, thus far, very happy with how Duncan's coming along, and I reckon it's going to be an awesome trip because these things are a capable, comfortable car, and the fact that it's got aircon just makes it so much better. So, in regards to that trip, you guys will definitely be seeing it. I will make a video on that trip, how we go, do a commentary, etc, etc. And of course, unless Duncan explodes prior to that, I will be taking him. That pretty much concludes this episode of Full Bore. Appreciate your time, fellas. We'll see you next time.